Hey gamers. Sorry about that, I was a bit thirsty. This Frazil right here does hit different. But that's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about someone that's just as ice cold as my beverage, Miss
XUEYI.
Yes, I didn't say the name because it's hard for me to pronounce as a southern white male. So, we're going to be talking about everything you need for her today. Everything from what she's going to be doing, to how many materials you're going to need to build her, to her light cones, to her relics, to the relic stats you need, and her best synergies as well. So, if you really like these type of videos, then make sure you go ahead and subscribe. There will be timestamp if you don't care about a certain section of the video. So, with that being said, guys, let's go ahead and talk about her icy cold skills right now. And honestly, my green apple freeze is a little bit too green apple for me, I'm not gonna lie. And with her skill breakdown, we cannot talk about anything that hasn't been announced as of recording this video anyway, so maybe stuff hasn't been announced and maybe this is irrelevant by the time you watch it. So let's go ahead and talk about what she does as of right now, or what we know as of right now. So first things first, her skill attack will be targeting one main enemy and just hitting adjacent enemies. It's pretty sweet, pretty simple. She has spread damage. That's really about it. That's all that her skill does. Everything realistically plays into the talent, which we're going to talk about at the very end, but her ultimate is the next thing up here. It does have a fairly low energy cost, and it does something very interesting actually. So what this is going to be doing is going to be targeting a single enemy, and it's going to be ignoring the weakness type of this enemy. So it doesn't matter what typing the enemy is, she is basically an all type unit whenever she is using her ultimate attack. So she can fit into a lot of teams because of this, because she can add a lot of variety just from her ultimate move just being there all together, right? She can attack any enemy and reduce their toughness. This should also be doing a weakness break to those enemies as well. So as say they're imaginary, you break their shield, it will count as a quantum break versus like it being an imaginary break or whatever they're actually weak against. And instead of giving them that weakness break, you get a quantum weakness break, which I think is pretty strong actually. And she also does something else on top of this. Maybe she increases the damage the more the toughness is reduced, but we can't talk about that right now. So let's go ahead and talk about her talent now. Her talent is the main thing that drives basically her whole kit. Is basically whenever her or an ally reduces an enemy's toughness, she gets stacks of karma. After a certain amount of karma stacks are added up, she'll be releasing one big follow-up attack. It will immediately deal damage 3 different times, which is going to be really nice actually. And each of these is going to do quantum damage to a single random enemy. And also, just keep in mind that these follow-up attacks don't count towards karma stacks. So, as long as you have people on your team that are reducing the enemy's toughness, if everyone else on the team has or can affect the weakness of the enemy, she will be launching these follow-up attacks off. Now, these follow-up attacks are not weak against all types. So, if she hits a follow-up attack, you're not going to be damaging everyone's toughness with these follow-up attacks. They have to be weak against quantum for this. But with her ultimate being said, she does hit everything. And there's also a lot of like stuff they didn't mention. It's mainly in her bonus traces. And we're going to talk about how to build her today based off of what we know right now, or based off of what I know in my dreams of what's in her bonus traces. So you stick with me on the build here in a second. So let's go ahead and talk about what you need to actually build your 4-star character, Miss
XUEYI.
So, with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about the mats in general that you need right now. So, as far as the credits and XP books you're going to need 3.2 million credits, or 3.3 million credits, and 290 of the purple XP books. Now, as far as like your level ascension materials and your boss materials you're going to need 12 of the new weekly boss materials you get from the new boss. I'll show them up on screen now from the dev live stream that they showed. And then as far as those level ascension materials, you're going to need 50 of the monkey boss mats. You're just going to find these basically in Dragon Danny's domain area, or where his whole story takes place at. You're going to need to farm these up to get her level up to level 80. Now, hopping into those traces now, she's going to need 105 of the big swords, 54 of the medium swords, and 12 of the small swords. This does also play into the smaller trace materials as well, where she needs 54 of the big void core things, 55 of the medium void things, and 40 of the small void things. I throw pictures on screen so you know exactly what they look like, because I'm going to keep it a buck. I don't know what the actual names are. They just look like little void core to me, so that's what I'm going to call them. Anyways, with that out of the way, this is everything you're going to need to build your XUEYI. So yeah, with that out of the way, I think we can go ahead and talk about her light cones now. Her best in slot light cone is going to be the Jingliu light cone, and this is because it just increases the wearer's crit damage, and whenever an ally gets attacked or loses HP, the wearer is going to get 1 eclipse stack up to 3 stacks. After getting all these stacks, it basically increases the damage of the wearer for their next attack, which can be really good for her because it can either apply to her follow-up or her ultimate move, depending on what you get first. But this is overall just going to be super good. This also is going to ignore defense on the enemy, so you do get a guaranteed defense shard this way as well. Now, if you don't have this light cone, another very viable option is going to be on the Fall of the Aeon, because first of all, you do get an inherent 16% attack increase. On top of this, you'll be doing increased damage if you inflict weakness break on an enemy, which she's very likely to do just because she does have follow-up attacks, and her ultimate will inflict a lot of damage on any enemy weakness toughest as well. So this can come in clutch for her, especially with her being able to break that enemy weakness so often. Now, a good 3-star light cone here would be like Collapsing Sky, which is this is another free-to-play light cone you could use. This is just going to overall increase the damage you're doing. It's pretty sweet, pretty simple. It's something you can use. On the Fall of the Aeon would definitely be the main one I would recommend using, though. With that being said, though, we're going to talk about her relics here in a second, but she does need break, guys. I think that you want to build some break into her, and that's what we're going to talk about now. Of what you actually want to be building on her. Her best in slot relic set to me is going to be 4-piece of the Thief of the Shooting Meteor. This is because, like I said, she is often breaking the shields. On top of this, I can't say right now, but maybe something scales off of break effect to give her more damage. So break effect could be good. An alternative you could use here would be 2-piece break effect, 2-piece quantum, or 2-piece break effect, 2-piece follow-up. Maybe, I don't know, haven't tested it, can't test it because I'm not a beta tester, so I don't know. These are other options that could work as well. Now, hopping into what those planter sets could be, obviously you could run 2-piece of the banditry set, which is going to give you more break effect. But if you don't want to run that, if you want more crit rate, crit damage, you can run some sets like Glamith, which will allow you to actually just deal more damage overall, depending on what your speed is, of course, because most of her damage is coming from her ultimate and her follow-up damage. You could also run Salsado 2. These are 2 solid options. Salsado does give her increased crit rate, which could be pretty nice for her kid, because I don't think she really has much crit built into her. So yeah, those are some relic sets that I would recommend there. Now let's go ahead and talk about some of these stats you want to be running on your kit here as well. On the boots, I would recommend speed here, especially if you're running Glamith. This is going to come in clutch. You're going to need speed, as much speed as you can get to get the max buff off for Glamith. But if you don't want to run this, you could also run attack boots here as well. I think attack could work just as well here because she can do damage off of her turn because of her follow-up attacks. Now, hopping into the body, run either crit rate or crit damage. She's a DPS character through and through, and I think she's going to be one of the best in the game. So she's going to be a crit-based unit. Just run some crit rate, crit damage here. I think it'll be completely fine. For the rope, I would recommend either running attack percentage, energy regen, or break effect. I mean, like I said, I can't test this right now, so I don't know for sure what would be the best here. I think that break effect could be a really good option here, but like I said, I don't know for sure. So maybe the order would be something like energy regen, break effect, attack percentage, just because I will say energy regen's nice because she can damage any typing or do toughness break to any typing. So energy regen can come in clutch there, especially it'll just give her basically more times to follow-up attack as well. The more she can get her ult off, the more she can follow-up attack as well. So that's my theory behind that. Now on the sphere, it's just going to be quantum on the sphere. Quantum damage boost is going to be absolutely essential here. As far as those substats go, I would recommend break effect. That would be one of the main things I would focus on, break effect, because let's assume that it'll play with our kid. Wink, wink. Number 2 on this substat list here is going to be speed. Speed's going to be absolutely essential to make her go more and more, faster and faster, especially if you're running Glamith like I mentioned before. Now, other alternatives here could be crit rate, crit damage to get that crit ratio up, and attack percentage as well. These are just some things all around the board that you can run to really increase the amount of damage she's going to be doing, because like I said, she is a DPS, and these things are going to be absolutely amazing for her. Now, with all of that out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about what her best synergies are, because I do think there are some pretty important synergies I think we should mention here. First of all, Ruan May. Ruan May increases the amount of toughness breaking you can do, and maybe that will increase her damage. Surely, we don't know yet, but let's just assume that will increase her damage. The more toughness damage she can do, the more damage she can do. Let's just assume that, right? So, and yeah, that's why I think Ruan May could be a really good option for her. Now, another option on the table table here is Mono Quantum, obviously. Mono Quantum teams are just getting more and more support, especially with the additional Sparkle and coming in 2.0. I think Mono Quantum team is looking more and more enticing each and every update because we just keep getting support for Quantum. So this could be really good as well, right? Mono Quantum team seems really nice. Now, another alternative you could run, which I am personally going to run, is a Topaz team with her, because her follow-up with Topaz follow-up, hey, yo, I can't wait to see this. Now, obviously, you have to get 8 attacks off for this to actually work, but let's maybe assume that something in the traces brings that amount down. I don't know. Let's just assume. But yeah, overall, I do think these synergies are probably going to play the best with her. I might have missed one, and if I did, leave that in the comment section down below. That's going to do it for today's video. I'm going to drink the rest of my green apple Frazil here because I want to be just as cold as she is. Anyways, that's going to do it. I'll catch you guys in the next one. So later. Bye-bye. And subscribe too. I forgot to say that. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Bye.